What's up, good people, and welcome back to another edition of the Best of Three podcast. This is the day, I don't know what day, this is like day 12, day 13 of the French Open, Roland Garros, brought to you by TNT, Max, WBD. I'm Alvin, that's Tory. It is the night after the men's semifinal. So we saw Carlos Alcaraz defeat Lorenzo Musetti, via retirement. Lorenzo pulled out down 0-2 in the fourth set. Yep. And then Novak Djokovic.
Not that the third set was much to watch.
Right.
Either.
Yeah. And then Sinner versus Novak. Entertaining match. Sinner takes down Novak in straight sets. So, TH, you were you came on hot before we started hitting record. And it feels like you got some stuff you want to get off your chest regarding Lorenzo Musetti. So we're gonna go.
I wasn't gonna go.
We're gonna break the triangle. We're gonna Kobe ISO here and let you go.
Let's go ISO right now. First of all, congratulations to Lorenzo Musetti. He's had a heck of a year. He's doing some great things. Happy for him. Read up on him a little bit. Expecting the second little one. As a dad myself, could only be more proud. You know what I mean? He is a former number one junior. I got it. Everything he's doing, he's hitting stride right now. Very happy for him, for his team, for his family, all that to the side. I did some digging, Alvin, because you and I had a conversation the last time, and I was talking about when I think of players at a certain level of the game and what I expect of them as certain players. So I had an extra half hour. And I went through just some random dates, some random years of the year-end number 6. Your boy's going to be 6th in the world by Monday. Okay? And I'd like to just, for you and the fans, just go through a couple of names. 2024, number 6 in the world, Casper Ruud.
Okay. 2-3-time Grand Slam finalist. Yep.
You can do the stats better than I can. 2020. Stefanos Tsitsipas.
Also 3-time
would go on to be number
Grand
3
Slam
in the world.
Finalist, yep.
And 2-time Grand Slam finalists. 2015. This is a funny one. Thomas Berdych. Not only a Grand Slam final, but 4 Grand Slam semifinals. Also number 6 in the world in 2010. 2005, David Nalbandian. 2000, Andre Agassi. 95, Yevgeny Kafelnikov. You kind of see where I'm going with this, Alvin?
Yeah, I do.
I want you to cut me off, but I want you to know this is where I'm going with this. I am not in the wrong for expecting a high level of output for a number 6 in the world. Now, my question to you. We know it's still early in Musetti's career. There was a number 6 in the world, Aaron Krickstein, who was not quite as well decorated as some of the others. But you do the research. Aaron Krickstein was the youngest player to crack top 10, youngest player to win an ATP title. Now, maybe his career didn't end up as well as illustrious as he would have liked. He also came in the 90s when a couple of players named Agassi and Sampras were teeing it up, and another Russian player named Murat Safin decided to crash the party. But I say that to say there's a lot. And don't let me keep going to the 80s.
No.
Boris Becker, Ivan Lendl, Ken Rosewall. You get my point.
I think that you expect more. What you're saying, I think, is that you expect more out of a world number 6, right? As far as I know you're a little salty about his retirement in the fourth set, but I think it's important to kind of we're looking at this while we're living through it, right?
Yep.
We're living through him being the current world number 6. We're not talking about him as a finished product, age 35, looking, and then because right now you think about Nalbandian, right, and you think about Evgeny Kafelnikov, and you think about Andre Agassi. And obviously, Andre Agassi in 2000 was a weird Agassi. I don't know which way he was going at that point, but
he was on the way back up.
On the way back up, right? So that's like Agassi 2.0. But we think about them through the lens of being the finished product. His peak is still in front of him.
I
right?
could not agree. We hope.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he's got 2 Grand Slam semifinals to his name, right? So he's one half Berdych at this point.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
And we think
we hope,
and we think about Berdych being this extremely clean ground stroker, long levers, right? But he had his flaws too. Like he had some flaws, choke jobs, and he froze up a few times.
Froze up, did not at one, and even that 2010, because that was one of his big breakout tournaments. That 2010, when he beat Roger on grass, Alvin.
Okay.
Beat Roger on grass. I mean, let's just put that out there. And beat Novak in the same tournament, 2010. Novak had already won Australia in 2008
at that point, yeah.
And maybe the French or whatever about not even French, maybe US Open by 2009. My point being, this was Grand Slam champion Novak Djokovic, younger Djokovic, but all the same. And then it went on to lose to Nadal. I mean, a very respectable, loss to a 22-time Grand Slam champion. I only say this to say, it made the retirement that much more, I'm going to say it,
so
frustrating at best.
Fair. Okay, so let's look at the match, and then we can get all the way up to the point of about 0-3 in the third set, right? So Carlos comes out, and I was taking some notes while I was watching this match, and my biggest takeaway from the match is we're all blessed to have Andre Agassi commentating tennis matches these days. Yeah. For our U.S. viewers, Agassi was calling the match with Jim Courier and whoever the actual announcer was. It was so cool to hear his perspective. You'd think Jim's good, like Jim's great, and Andre's real good.
Yeah,
he's real good.
An absolute sage.
Just some of the stuff that he was talking about, like he gave this one. He was just dropping gems left and right. One of them was like he talked about squaring off your positioning when you're returning serve to not align yourself with the baseline, but to align yourself with where the ball is coming from. And it was like, and he said it, and he's like, so for those of you at home when you're out playing, and I was like, oh, that's amazing. Well done, Andre. Well done. And so that was cool. I assume we're gonna have him for the final. They didn't fly him over there to do one match. So I assume he's gonna do the final as well, and that's gonna be really cool. The Carlos Alcaraz experience is a mercurial one.
Okay.
Because he can do anything. Okay. He has the holes in his game, right? But I feel like in a match like this, you're forced to look at the match through the perspective of what is Carlos doing. It's not really about Lorenzo Musetti, right? It's always about Carlos until he's playing Novak, and then it's about Novak. And then when he's playing Sinner, it's a video game. But against everyone else, it's if Carlos is winning, it's because of Carlos. If Carlos is not winning, it's because of Carlos. It's not about the other guy. And so the first set was I felt like Carlos was in a good space. He was managing himself well.
Yep, agree with that.
But never got it. He didn't get sharp when he needed to get sharp. There were instances in which he needed to focus. Like, okay, I'm up double break point here. Now is the time to lock down, get the break. And he had two different instances in that first set where he did have break opportunities and played loose points.
Your boy, he left the back door open on Lorenzo. I couldn't agree.
Yeah, and then gets to the point where he's serving to stay in the set, and then missed 5 first serves maybe 4 first serves in the first 5 points. Like, come on, dude. This is where I expect championship medal, and I hate to say Federer would have done this or Novak would have done this. Maybe at some point
we're spoiled to have that level of efficiency and marksmanship at that level in the tournament. I will add, he looked that sharp against Tommy Paul. You know what I mean? And almost Tommy Paul's demise. But I say it to say he looked like he had a plane to catch against Tommy Paul. Like, buddy, I'm taking everything. A lot like that. We talked about this before. That Novak Djokovic match against Dimitrov in the semis.
Right. Yeah.
Just about the most efficient match I've seen all year. I don't want to break your train of thought. I hear you. Part of me thinks that some of that was he wasn't as sharp as the match before, which I think bodes well for his final.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't as sharp, me personally. However, Lorenzo give him a lot of credit. He played well when given the opportunity. When Carlos stubbed his toe.
Absolutely. Lorenzo served fantastic in the first set. He was there, like, and moving past the first set, Carlos loses it. They get into the second set. Carlos finally gets a break, right, and then immediately gives it back.
Yep.
And I think that happened twice in the second set. And then they get into the tiebreaker, and then it lockdown central, and then that was kind of the beginning of the end. Carlos sprints out, takes a quick break and a hold, or hold break hold, and then break again, and then that was kind of
another hold break hold.
Yeah, and then that was the and then at that point, Lorenzo pulls up a little bit lame, and then at that point, I was telling my brother, I'm like, I don't think he's gonna. I think as we down 4-0, I'm like, yeah, this looks like it's about over. And he might not even finish this match, because I don't feel like it takes everything Lorenzo Musetti has to go toe to toe with Carlos Alcaraz. Yeah. If he's hampered in the least bit, right, and this is a soft tissue kind of hamstring kind of situation, I feel like the pragmatic thing is to pull the cord. Like, what are you gonna do? Well, what was he gonna do? Was he going to grind that match out? No,
he wasn't gonna grind it out, Alvin, but he didn't have to pull out. I'm just saying.
Just like you'd rather him walk around and take the. I mean, at 2-0 in the fourth set, like, I mean, you might as well.
He did it for the entire third.
Right. At that point, you might as well.
I guess I'm saying, what's the difference between 4-0 down and 2-0 down in the fourth? I mean, just take your butt whooping and at least say, hey, guys, I wasn't 100%. Hats off to, to Carlos. Thank you so much. It's so good to play here again. Whatever. I feel like he got in that press conference, Alvin. He was his own spin machine. He was his own marketing guy. I was close to his level, blah, blah, blah. I wasn't 100%, but, for those two sets, I played great. And I'm like, bro, there was nothing I saw. There was no injury timeout. There was no, I didn't see him every other changeover getting rubbed down, asking for. Novak is on the darn side of the court.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Going through everything, slicing, rolling, coming forward, serving volley, doing as a 38-year-old to find a way to win. And I felt like my main man Musetti checked his itinerary, he checked his points coming off, that possibly may come off in Wemby. He made a strategic decision to say, nah, I'm out.
Yeah.
Let me save myself Wemby. I got points coming off Wemby. And Alvin, I got to tell you, that's how it looked. I don't know his situation. I'm not a physio, and I'm certainly not his trainer or his coach and team. But it looked every bit of take the fall in the fourth, old school snatch, tell your man to go down in the fourth. I mean, It was 100%. Yeah. I'm going down, buddy. And when he had those first couple of breaks, 3-0, you could tell the trotting after the ball started, the slicing of the return. I don't think Lorenzo sliced the backhand return in the first two sets.
No, he did not. Yeah, it's one of those, we take it and we go, okay, we'll keep an eye out on this, because is he going the way of Grigor Dimitrov? I don't know. We'll see. It's been a long season. It's not about
23. How old is Mo? 25? I think he's 25 years old, give or take.
Musetti?
Musetti?
Oh, he's like 20. I wrote this down. I should have this ready to go at all times.
I think his juniors was like 2018 and 2019. I'm pretty sure it might be 25. You tell me. You may know.
He's not 25. He's closer to
24?
He's a year older than Carlos. They're like in the same space. So he's already 22, 23.
Yeah, maybe he's younger in juniors then.
Yeah, so I mean, he just got to toughen up. Maybe get stronger, come back. He swaps it. Great run. Swaps the points. Like, his semifinal at Wimbledon is now a semifinal at French Open.
He didn't. Alvin, to his credit, he was playing great.
Played well.
I mean, let's be very honest. And to me, to that point, it just didn't seem, again, injury notwithstanding, it just didn't seem like it was as important. To me, he was looking forward. He was looking down the road at Wemby and man schedule. That's all. And that's disappointing. I was disappointed, Alvin, and I'll take you a quick segue and I'll come back. When Nadal knew he wasn't going to be able to serve, I was disappointed that he finished off Taylor Fritz a few years back at Wemby, knowing he was likely going to pull out in the next match, right? Get up a set the set or two in a break that he was. I want to say it was 5-3 or 5, whatever it was there in the end. Get up 40 love or whatever the score was, and literally look around the crowd and say what old school. Who was it? Was it Ken Rosewall or one of those old guys they got? No, you know who it was? It was Tom Gorman, old school. Got to that semi and was up 5, whatever, but it hurt his back, and walked to the net, up a set and a break, and walked to the net and shook hands. He knew he wasn't going to be able to finish the match. And he wanted the tournament to continue.
No,
Alvin?
I don't. No. I do not. No.
You can say what you want, do what you feel. He did not.
No. I hear.
Wasn't gonna win
I hear that it happened. I believe you. Yeah. I don't think in any. I don't fault Nadal at all for you. You take the W that you earn, and then you deal with tomorrow.
If you're anyone else, if you're Nadal and you're not going to play it, now you let a walkover go through.
That's not his problem. That's not his problem. That's Taylor Fritz's problem.
It is his problem. He's the walkover.
No.
It's his
problem.
No,
it's Taylor's problem for not beating him.
Oh, jeez. While I don't disagree with Taylor in that match.
I'm not giving. I can't condone giving anyone a W.
It's not a gift. You're pulling out. You're going to pull out later. What's the difference in now?
You got to win. You're playing the match now. Tomorrow's tomorrow.
Now, tomorrow. You knew he was going to pull out, Alvin. You and I both knew he was going to pull out tomorrow.
Tomorrow's tomorrow. Today is today.
Okay.
Tomorrow is tomorrow, and today is today. Nadal, it's not.
I appreciate your proximity.
His name is Rafael Nadal, not Rafael Wimbledon.
Agree to disagree. Yep.
Fair.
We'll agree to disagree.
Okay.
And that's why he did his farewell at Roland and not at Wimbledon.
Fair.
Just saying.
Okay. So Carlos moves forward to the final. Good. It's all theater until that happens.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears. Sinner, Djokovic. Were you entertained?
I was more than entertained. I thought it was a very good match. I thought Novak threatened constantly. Novak adjusted constantly. Novak played the match he needed to play for Sinner, and quite frankly, this whole generation, to feel like they can now move forward and have replaced him. This was Universal Soldier. This was, They had to best the champion before they moved on. And the champion wasn't dinged up, wasn't hurt, older, sure, but was healthy, was as healthy as a 38-year-old can be, and played
rested
well. He held serve. He had everything clicking as well as he could at his age and his play. And Alvin, you heard it right here. That was probably the best Novak's played this year on the clay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, as far as and Sinner did not hold back. That was some great shot making, and I like that it was in straight sets. You and I both heard the old adage to be the man, you got to beat the man, right? And one of my favorites, I told my main man, old school Jeff Clark, one day, they're not going to give it to you. You got to take it from him. And I felt like Yannick took it from him, and I was glad it went straights. I was very, very pleased with the way that Yannick dispatched him. It wasn't easy. He had his own set of nerves, hadn't gotten broken the whole time, got broken once, broke right back, which I like to see.
Yep.
I'm so impressed with how clinical he was in his playing of Novak, because Novak's not easy to play. To your point the other day, he has every plan. He is the avatar, and aging an avatar that he may be. But it was so good to see some of the playing and the shot making. And one last dig on Musetti. It was good to see the match finish for a semifinal of a Grand Slam.
Lee, you and Lorenzo. Lorenzo is he's your Pagula, I swear. It's I really enjoyed the match, and I liked watching Novak kind of go through the progressions of what is it going to take for me to get this guy off kilter. And I found myself kind of watching the clock, especially as we got like towards the back end of the first set, beginning of the second set. I'm like,
right.
Novak's he's got to steal this set. He needs to steal this set to draw this match out. Like, because I think it's, the old school Novak used to get in your legs, right? Take your legs out. No, Sinner does have a breaking point. Like I mentioned this before. I think it's the 3.5 hour mark. He hasn't won a match past that length, right?
Yeah.
And that just could be like that's the upper limits of his conditioning, right? Oh,
and he's a thin guy.
He's a thin guy, and you saw it against Holger Rune in the
right.
round of 16 or quarterfinals at Australian Open. I can't remember which match it was, but it got long. Yeah. It was hot, and he was fading. He was fading.
Fading.
Yeah.
That weird bathroom break situation.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know, whatever that electrolytes.
Exactly. So, but the thing is, like, it's very hard to get. It's very hard to get there with him. Like, go 3.5.
What did we get to? 3 hours and 16 minutes.
Yeah, and so like when
right there
at 4-5, when Sinner was serving 4-5 to stay in the third set, and he was facing a couple break points there. I was like, dude,
I had a set point. Yeah.
Novak. Exactly. Yeah. If Novak cracks one of these and we go into the fourth set, now that's another 45 minutes, and I feel really good about Novak money at that point in time, because he was trying everything, and it's like, man, like not only is Sinner like playing Pog back there, he's also got a longer brick too. It's like where the hell are you gonna go? Like where are you gonna go? And Novak tried everything, and it's like, man, you just. Like, what is it going to take? It's going to take somebody like who's as good of a mover as Novak, as cerebral as Novak, or just hits the ball harder. This is why Carlos does well against Yannick, is because he will. Okay, this is going to be maybe a little simplistic, but I'm gonna take it there. Sinner is going to try to break you on the baseline. Right. The only way you're going to go through him, and it's not going to be with your ball passing over the baseline. It's going to be with your ball passing over the sideline, right? Which means you're going to have to take some of those balls early and get a hold of that thing pretty early in the rally, and he doesn't let you do it.
Yep.
But Carlos will mess around and do it. Like he does the unconventional so well and so often,
right? Especially on clay.
Yeah. And he also has the ability to mix up heights. He'll go high. He'll get the ball up and out of Sinner's strike zone. He will push him back because Sinner wants to take everything off the rise. It's like almost like Novak's game just kind of notches perfectly into what Yannick wants to do.
And yet he held and was ahead for the entire third. And yet he had chances even in the second, to the truth be told. And if I am team Alcaraz, especially Juan Carlos Ferrero, I'm getting tidbits from the tape of that match to see a lot of the breaking points in those matchups because my player is that much more athletic and younger. Let's be honest. And to see some of the points, the stress points of Jannik Sinner.
Yeah. So I mean, my question is, I kind of go back to like old comparisons when like especially like in the NBA, they'll talk about a team and how good they are against other teams, but then they like take out the best team, and it's like, well, they don't. That's everything else is kind of irrelevant. And I'll make it a little more simple. I don't know if Carlos needs to take anything from how Sinner plays against Novak, because it doesn't really apply. No one plays like Carlos.
No one plays like Carlos. What I'm getting at is I thought there was a lot of situations where Novak went back behind Yannick early. He went back. He chose to. There was a couple of times where when Yannick didn't hit as many inside outs as he normally does because Novak was taking the backhand early, right? And I also felt like the early, especially the first set and second set, I felt like Yannick was hitting the line on the line. Missed a few, hit a couple right on the line, which we know in a match that can be hit or miss. But I felt like Novak forced him to take some shots he wasn't prepared to take. And had fitness, had some other things, youth been there, Novak may have converted more of those if it was 10 years ago. So, yeah, we're not putting any rules. I don't mean a look at what he did to Yannick. No, I mean just a few serve targets, just a few return positions. If anything, I thought that Yannick managed the match very well. But sometimes you play a guy a certain way, you need to also understand that guy loses another way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If with a certain your word profile, and just don't forget that. Don't forget that there's other ways to beat him. And I think my opinion of Carlos is he has the tendency to feel like he has to beat you, and that could be a burden on him going to a guy who doesn't make a lot of mistakes. I saw the stats, Alvin. The stats at the end of that match, I want to say the winners were somewhere in like the 40s and the errors were in the 30s. And Novak was the exact opposite. I want to say it was like 35 winners and 53 errors.
Yeah.
Now, again, three sets of tennis and long sets. That's not uncommon. But to my point, Yannick was more winners than errors in a match like that, playing against the Novak on clay. So and that's pretty solid.
Uncharacteristically, I'm going to ask you and just kind of give me your gut response. I'm not going to hold you to it. We can talk about it. But like, who do you think's going to win tomorrow or on Sunday? Who
on Sunday?
Like, I mean, we come again. Carlos. Why? Why do you feel that way?
I think he just plays him better on the clay.
Yeah.
Period. I think his ball's heavy enough. I think he yanks him around. I think it's not as straightforward. On hard court, I give it to Yannick.
That's fair.
Just on what I see on the matchup, on the movement, I just feel like both of them move very well. I just feel like Carlos moves better. And Carlos hits it bigger. And if Carlos is keeping the things in front of him like he should, I feel like Carlos is just on grass. It's going to be very interesting to see. Because that one to me is going to be a little more. They both have the other 50% of the other one's counter. You know what I mean? Carlos was great on the run, but God, Yannick's on the rise is so clean. So it's gonna be not to say I don't want to look past.
Yeah, let's not look past it because I think.
But I just say it to say this one to me is a little more straightforward. There is an edge. Do I think it'll be 4 sets of prizes? Absolutely. Do I think that it may go 100%? Do I think it's going to go that 3.5 hour mark? I absolutely do. And I think at that point, I think it'll be like a 6-1, 6-2 in the fifth. That's what I think. I think it's just going to go the distance. And I really think that, and I'm looking forward to that, by the way. But I just feel like the longer it goes, it aids Carlos. I wasn't particularly impressed with Yannick's serve today, which that's normally he usually gets. He can usually sneak out 1 ace a game on you and just hit that wide slide or the out wide flat bomb. He wasn't serving necessarily great today. And I will say to me, I was very impressed with how Novak was able to be in every game as a result of that. And to be honest, Alvin, if Carlos plays like he's capable, he will go the distance with Yannick. And the longer it goes, as I say, I think that definitely puts spills in his face for sure.
I think I like to try to stay away from predictions, but I do feel like Carlos in this particular matchup makes Yannick uncomfortable. To your point, more so on clay, right? More so on clay. It kind of forces him into doing some things that he's not really he doesn't really want to do. Particularly, like he'll make him come forward a lot.
Make him forward, make him go side to side. He'll rip, he'll go back. He has it back in himself. He runs down the drop shot well, doesn't mind the drop shot. He was complaining about his shoes today, right? I think it was the go-behinds and the wrong footing that Novak was doing. I don't think the shoes had much to do with it. I think it was how he was being played. And that's more what I'm getting at. He was starting to slip and slide a little bit out there. He was, as well as he moves, and he slides very, very well.
It's gorgeous to watch him go side to side, open stance, sliding both ways.
But that same thing, he is a dynamic slide. He's a dynamic, I'm going to say load. He's sliding and turning on the ball. So he's all in. But that same thing could hurt him if the ball goes back behind him. So that's what I'm saying. I really feel like if there's an opportunity for Carlos, wrong foot him enough, take it early on some, go back behind him, take the forehand back line, take the backhand back line after he's gone back cross. And Carlos has done that very well. He hits hard cross off your cross very, very well. To your point, even wider off the court.
He did that to Musetti a good bit today, too.
Did that a good bit today. And I think that's where it'll start to really pay him some dividends late in the match. So it's going to be a good match. And again, you got number 1 versus number 2. I mean, this whole draw could not have come together better.
I would say for the presenters for Warner Brothers Discovery, TNT, Max et al., like first year with Roland Garros, you couldn't ask for a better collection of matches. Like when the draw came out on the women's side, it's like, okay, we might get Iga against Sabalenka in the semifinals.
Right.
Wouldn't that be nice? And then
they might get Keys and Coco.
And then they got him, right? And now we got.
Then you might get
Novak. You might get Novak and Sinner in the semifinals, and you got it. And I think the. Even though Musetti was seeded 8th, I think he was the favorite probably to come out of that quarter because of his clay court proficiency over Fritz, if Fritz had made it that far. And then you get these finals of 1 and 2 seeds on both sides, and they said it wasn't last time it's happened at Roland Garros. 1 and 2 seed on both men's side and women's side meeting in the finals. Do you know this one?
I don't know if I know this one. I would have to say, is it 90s?
Earlier, but relevant.
Wow.
I mean, obviously, 1 and 2 seeds, they were relevant.
Martina, Chris, Jimbo, and Borg and Mac.
You were 75% of the way there. It was Mac and Lindell. In 84, okay. Chrissy and Martina, yeah.
I was trying to figure because I knew Borg won a bunch of those.
Yeah.
Back, so I was thinking Borg, but that was more 70s. But anyway, I figured had to be one of that, a combination thereof, just because of how good all 4 of them were, and record books don't lie.
Yeah,
but that's amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. I think so. After I'm gonna kind of come back to this. What is going on there? I'm gonna come back to this, but the kind of looking back at the tournament as a whole. But I am excited for this final. I think it's this is where we should be. I feel like obviously Novak versus Carlos would have been nice and interesting, but like we've done that, and that is and
not near as epic. This is now a match for the ages to me for everything going forward. You know what I mean? And I can't. This now begins the rivalry of them anew, right? Post all the shenanigans from Australia and all this and that. This now really starts to be, the second installment, the second, I'm gonna say revolution of their rivalry being replugged, remixed, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Because now I feel like Carlos had stubbed his toe earlier in the year and kind of had to get back to his winning ways. Sinner had already proven that he was ready to take it to the house for the next several slams. And quite frankly, still on track to do so. I feel like Carlos had to get his mind right to understand where he is. And even though he has more slams than Sinner currently, it seemed like Sinner was more focused on getting the next 4. And I feel like he's done a great job of moving his needle back to a top. And now it's going to be even better tennis. If you had done this match in March, I'm not so sure Carlos was up for the task. Now that we're back here, I think Carlos is in the best space Carlos can be, and he's playing. Not only is he playing well, not as he moves on the clay, not as he's healthy, he feels like he can beat anyone right now, and that he's very, very hard to beat. And that, to me, is what I look forward to happening the most, Alvin, is you love seeing these kind of matches. This is the Nadal-Fed.
Right. That's the feeling I'm getting these days with these two.
Because both of them going in. There is no favor. It is a dead tie. Their strengths knock out the other one's strengths, right? It's going to come down to their second weapon or their third weapon. It's going to come down to some fitness. It's going to come down. Back to me, my dig against you. That's why I love 3 out of 5, because you're going to be able to see.
I don't hate 3 out of 5. It's a nuanced conversation. It's a nuanced conversation. I'm not saying we get rid of it. I'm just saying we don't need more of it. I don't think we all need. I was asking, Jesus, man, come on. I said if you had to pick one, don't do that. Don't do that. That's ridiculous.
We should make them all play 10-point breakers.
Fast 4s or whatever. Let's just pro sets for everybody. Yeah, I think I was getting that feeling today that, like, in the kind of the heyday of Nadal, versus Federer before Djokovic really hit the scene. It was like you're almost on pins and needles all tournament. Like we just gotta wait. Like man, what are the chances of them both getting there? Like we gotta wait 2 weeks for them to dodge these bullets and then get there. But now we're here,
and now they've done it.
And now they've done it, right? And
no,
in the last 12 months, right? They played at French Open last year, semifinals. Carlos in 5. They played a little bit after that. I know they played in indoor. Was it in Beijing, maybe, or Shanghai? One of those two. Carlos won that one. They played indoor. Yeah, I think there was another one in there. And then they played in Rome. But basically, in the last 4 matches, like Carlos has had him since Sinner's been number 1 in the world. Carlos has beaten him 4 times in a row.
Yeah,
that's significant. I feel like it's very personal. Like people have been talking. I guess technically we are some of the people that have been talking as well.
Yeah.
But that like Sinner beats everyone and loses to Alcaraz. Alcaraz can lose to anyone but beat Sinner. And I think in the last 2 months, what we've seen is Carlos bring his own floor up. Like no, I'll beat all them too, and then I'm coming for your neck.
Still looking for you.
Right. Yeah, I'm still looking for you. Omar's coming.
Right.
Omar's coming. I guess it's actually someone pointed out a really nice piece about Omar being the like Novak Djokovic in the Omar comparisons. It was so good. Oh, so well written. Maybe I'll drop the link in the description below when we finish up here. But yeah, I think this is we talked about the women's final coming up. A little preview of the men's final. I think as tennis fans, we are blessed. Like it's like just sit back and enjoy your weekend.
Great tennis, and both of them seem to be healthy as well, which is also a tough thing to do. Neither have been entirely hampered by the previous match. It's just been some good tennis, man. It's been good tennis, and I gotta say, the tennis has improved throughout the tournament, as it often does. But I've rarely seen the ceiling pushed. I've seen the quality match an expectation or what you thought what would happen. I've rarely seen the level push beyond what I thought was possible. That sounds a bit weird, and I'm certainly not that level of I'm not that level of fan that has to impress me. Tennis has been as a level has been raised. I mean, the Iga Arena match, I think, pushed the boundaries on the physics of the tennis ball. I mean, it literally, I don't know what the speed per, but dude, they were doing some shellacking of the ball back and forth for 4, 5, 6 shots on clay.
Yeah, that was intense.
And you heard it right here. It was some solid tennis. I mean, there was some points today, Alvin. There was some points today with Novak and with Yannick. He was off the court on ball 18, and Yannick is out wide, hitting a rip down the line with margin that you thought anybody else wouldn't even got to the ball, let alone been able to rip the ball, let alone finish. And Novak had some volleys, had some clutch shots. I mean, Novak did not go quietly in the night. I mean, this was a match. It was, and it was all he could do. It was all three sets. You know what I mean? So, and again, hats off to him.
We were close. We were so close to a fourth. I feel like if we get there, we're having a very different conversation right now. Yeah, but we didn't, and so we're not. I'm excited as I was watching that match and seeing some of those cross-court exchanges. Like I was starting to get a little excited about Carlos would have just ripped that one up the line for no reason. Like not no reason, just like he's not going to do what Novak was doing with Sinner, and almost like obviously not going to do what like Zverev was doing with Djokovic. Like he's not just going to stay there to stay there. He will stay there until he's like, okay, I'm done with this, and now we're going that way, and we're flipping this rally around. We're going to get a little crazy. We're going to get a little unpredictable. We're going to have a little fun, and let that athleticism show and that shot making show. And I think it's going to be a stressful match. It's going to be a stressful and fun match. Yeah. We deserve this. We deserve this as tennis fans.
When you're bringing that kind of, when fire and ice meet like that together, I mean, what else would it be? That's what you're supposed to have. I mean, again, just couldn't be more looking forward to it. And honestly, Alvin, I've had a day to think about it. I really think the Arena Coco match is going to be very similar. I mean, we're gonna be in for a treat these next couple of days. I mean, usually, let's be honest, usually you get to this level of tournament and the one player you just know is a lot stronger, and you're just hoping it's a match. We're in a situation on this one where we don't have any idea. We're prognosticating and forecasting, but we really don't know. Like, the world doesn't know, the players don't know, and they're looking forward to it. And this is that kind of instant classic. Both matches are those instant classic type matches that it rarely happens, let alone on both sides of the draw.
Yeah, I've given the women's final a little bit more thought today, obviously, and it feels like it is. I can't see it being straightforward. Like, it's going to get messy at some point, and once it gets messy, like, no one's better in the mud than Coco Gauff.
Flows over to Coco a little bit, and Arena won't go away. You know what I mean? Sometimes she's raised her floor.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It used to be Arena was the type that would go away on her own, get mental, yell at her box, she's now very unflappable. She was very flappable before, you know what I mean, in terms of on her own, just getting mad at herself. Now she's not done that. She had a little bit of that. Eagle was able to kind of push a few buttons in that match, but again, she stepped up and kept moving. I really, really like where this match and Alvin, this is my whole point I was saying earlier about tennis has been raised, and now we got one more match to continue to push the envelope of what's possible. And Alvin, I've said this before on this very podcast about how certain players are the litmus test of what's possible, of what the level is. Well, now we have the number ones and twos proving to each other what that new litmus test, what that new level is. And that is impressive because now the whole world has to catch up to what that level is.
Well, and they're different on both sides, right? 1 and 2 on the women's side right now it's Arena's the clear 1, and Coco is the current 2. And I don't think if she loses the match, she is the clear cut 2. But if she wins the match, she starts to show people a way to beat Arena. Like
a way to beat her, and she's a true contender for the next several slams.
Right.
And that because she can beat and she beat Arena before, and now she is
this Arena, like
Arena,
the current,
the better, new and improved
right,
Arena.
the world number 1 version of Arena.
She established herself much like Iga has done on the clay, right? And so that's my point. We're pushing the level of what we've known. And when 1 and 2 does it against each other, that's magic.
Yeah,
man.
and then on the men's side, like the 1 and 2 matchup, they're fighting for the top spot. Like, yes, Yannick is ahead right now and has the points to back it up and hasn't lost a match to not Carlos in, like, I don't know, 9 months. Beats everyone.
And yet Carlos has 4 and his 2, right? So you're still in this.
Well, they're 4-3. They're 4-3 now. So this is 4-3? 4-3. Yannick won. He's won 2 Australian Opens, 1 U.S. Open. So we're back in the whole counting slams thing again. Like we're the very beginning of it at the same time, as opposed to when Fed-Nadal were doing it. It was later, and this is cool. Like we're living through it. Like in real time,
like living history. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Like I said, I can't wait. I cannot wait. It's going to be some good stuff.
What does that look? What do the finals look like in the Hawkins household? What are your watch plans? How do you normally attack? How are you attacking this one or these two?
You know what, Alvin? I am, and my wife gets on me all the time about this. I am a very introspective watcher.
What does that mean?
I like that. Eileen, and I love her to death. She is a good tennis player, league level, and so on. And truth be told, a very good athlete in her own right. But I get to a point watching tennis where I'm watching momentum shifts. I'm watching tactics. I'm trying to listen to a good commentary from a good commentator. And I don't do well with a lot of extemporaneous questions.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I've got almost be like, and she'll get mad at me. I'll put it on my iPad and come to the room and watch it.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
You're not gonna watch it? I'm like, nope, I'm not, because I don't want to answer any questions. I don't want to have to deal with the dogs. I want to just watch, and I want to get absorbed in it, and just
You want to live? I want to live this match. I need to live this match.
100%.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Hey, hold my calls. Man, I got everything I need. It's one of those matches where I just always feel like, these kind of matches, I want to be right there and watch all of it. And I feel like there's, sometimes, our loved ones are wanting us to kind of give a little bit of a play-by-play. And this is not the kind of match that I want to give play-by-play. If this was a first round or a second round,
right? Yeah.
I'm not really worried about the outcome, or I'm pretty confident about the outcome. The match is pretty much the match, right? Sure. I'll let me tell you what happened here. Much like, and that's like anything that I think is on the line. I don't want to talk a lot during playoffs basketball. You know what I mean? I don't want to talk a lot during Final Four or whatever. And if I were watching with you or watching with somebody else who I know knows tennis, then I can make a quick comment or two in a break,
right,
or a commercial break, and we can talk about it and then get right back to the tennis.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is not a if we were at a sports bar, Taco Mac or something, you know what I mean, and a couple of yahoos over there, oh yeah, he owns one of them. That's what he's talking about. I don't mind a little banter with that guy if he knows what he's talking about. But most of the time, if I got to explain it,
right? Yeah,
you're taking away from my experience at that point.
Yeah, and even now, like with there's a little bit of added pressure these days with knowing that I'm gonna have to turn these lights on and come talk about it. Like I got the notebook out. Like it's it's chock full of goodies. It's right here, and
100%.
I gotta pay attention.
I'm taking screenshots of the stats on the screen.
Yeah, it's like I gotta lock in. I gotta lock in, and we got some of the guys. Dasef is coming over tomorrow. His family, they live down the street, and then my buddy Matt, and Matt's coming over as well. So
shout out to Matt and Zig.
Yeah, Matt's a big obviously a Arena Sabalenka fan, and I imagine Dasef will be pulling hard for Coco, but Matt knows enough to not ask the really basic questions, and Dasef knows enough to not be talking. And then on Sunday that's all me. I got clear my calendar. Aaron's taking the kids out. I'm just like, I can't go anywhere.
Right.
I'm arrested for this tennis match. This is not social time. This is we're all going to work.
And it's such it doesn't happen that often when you get these kind of players. I forget which Wimbledon it was. Some of them run together in years to me, but that epic 5-setter with they've had several with Fed and Nadal, when Nadal finally beat him in the fifth set match. I want to say it was like 12.
Was it
the late, like the last one, wasn't 2018 or whatever, 2017 was the one where Fed finally beat him in the fifth, and he hadn't beat him in I don't know how many years in the final. So that was an epic one. But this one's like
the one that where like got dark and like they almost had to call it. Yeah, I think it was 08. I think it was 08.
Oh wait, I'm about to say I thought it was like 08. I couldn't remember. Great match. I mean, that was one of those matches where I was glued. Just glued to the TV. You know what I mean? And so those are kind of matches, man, where you're just like, I want to watch every bit of it and just feel like I was there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And then we will we'll come back. We'll talk after one or both of them. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And then next week, when we get a little bit of time from it, I want to kind of do like a little mid-year look back. What are we doing going into grass?
Party of June. Can't believe it's already here.
Yeah. We'll have 2 majors in the bags and 2 more to go. But yeah, let's cut it there. Good tennis ahead of us. So I say best of 3. I guess that's it. We're out.
Peace.